Everyone, if you watch much photography content online, you would have seen that for some reason, whenever mirrorless, especially Sony, comes up, tempers flare and it's an incredibly divisive topic. Today I want to talk you through why I think that is and hopefully chill things out a little. If you want to learn about what's happening inside your camera and how to make use of all of its features, and start to use, understand, and work with light to create really interesting and dynamic shots, check out my Take Control of the Light video series that I filmed with Tina. It's filled with lots of interactive exercises that you do and videos showing Tina going through the exercises as well to help you learn. Okay, so I was chatting to a friend the other day about this situation and why this, of all topics, when we talk about it, really splits people and gets people really fired up. And I think there's three main reasons for it, why people get angry and why it's so divisive. Firstly, we as photographers are already divided. Some are all about digital, others are all about film. Some are all about high ISO performance and others about resolution. Some are focused on sports and some shoot portraits, some only shoot flash, some only shoot natural light. Some, we all have developed our own way of shooting and we can be really trenchant in it. And, there's nothing wrong with that. We understand that people have different opinions and different ways of shooting and they've built up their habits over time. And if anything, that's a really great thing. We should be encouraging that. Just for whatever reason, people seem to be more angry about this than they do about other topics. So whether you're in the camp of it's just a tool, there's no point getting bogged down on equipment, or that you absolutely love your gear, at the end of the day, like everything else, you should be buying equipment based on what's going to do it for you, not based on the latest hype or what's the latest trend, based on what's actually going to work for you in the way that you like to shoot, in the style that you like to shoot, the kind of locations, and that offers the kind of features that's going to deliver the results that you want to get. Second reason I see for this, and it's just an opinion, but I think some of us are really, really passionate and we really care about our equipment. I'm one of them. It is just a tool, but I really love the gear that I use, and I think of it as more than just what it can do for me. And I think that some people are so heavily invested in a system, both financially and because of the years of service, they kind of have a friendship with the brand, a relationship, maybe a love-hate one, but some kind of sense of loyalty to it, that it can be really confronting when something new like mirrorless comes along and it's getting all this attention and a lot of people are switching to it and then people are considering what's best for them. It can be, a little bit challenging for people. Some are really sure of what they want to do. Some may be a little bit unsure and confronted by it. But, that's the kind of situation where tempers can really flare up and people start to get emotional about things, which at the end of the day is just an overpriced piece of metal and electronics painted black for us to go out, have fun and make some pictures. And I think that the money and the loyalty tied in leads really nicely into the third point, which is mirrorless is a trade-off. There's no questioning that, in every point that I can think of where mirrorless has an advantage, or for some people what's seen as an advantage over DSLR or film or whatever, it's always tempered with a but. And it's how much you value the new feature versus the but that you need to think through. So first off, it's smaller and lighter than an equivalent DSLR body, but the battery is far less capacity and the cameras tend to be far more power hungry, so you're likely to carry around a bunch of spare batteries. Does that work out to an overall net saving to you, or is it more hassle than it's worth? You can also adapt all kinds of manual focus lenses and even autofocus lenses via adapter to these cameras and use them, taking advantage of some of the other features they have, like inbuilt stabilization. But that will then make the cameras much bigger and heavier as a combo, potentially make them unbalanced in terms of weight, and again, that may just negate the overall size advantage that you were getting. EVF is getting better and better. They're getting higher resolution, lower lag, better in low light, but it still doesn't compare to many for the, using a real viewfinder where you're actually seeing exactly what's coming through the lens, no lags, and it's all right there for you to see. This is only really third generation, second generation of technology for mirrorless cameras, and it's just not where it's going to be as it will be in a couple of years' time. Mirrorless has, lots of focus assist options like peaking and zebra, but the autofocus, whilst it's getting better and better generally, still isn't as fast or responsive as a high-end DSLR of equivalent price. In low light situations, in tricky situations, whilst the mirrorless may give you focus points all over the screen, you're much more likely overall to be hunting for focus with the mirrorless in really tricky lighting situations than you would be on the top of the line DSLRs. The latest generation high-end mirrorless are packing in lots of innovative new pro-level features in them, great sensors, new connectivity, all kinds of new innovations, but they lack a couple of other things that a lot of pros would be looking for, like potentially dual card slots, a range of fast and affordable native mount lenses. That's a big one. DSLRs have been around for so long that there's this whole industry of third-party manufacturers and own brand lenses and accessories and flashes and all of that stuff out there. If you're looking at the full-frame mirrorless offerings like the Sony ones, there's not that many lenses out there yet. They're not as fast as the other, ranges of cameras, and they overall seem to be much more expensive. So that's another trade-off. So after all of that, at the end of the day, mirrorless, like everything that's come before, is just another form of technology. And to be honest, this debate is fairly normal. When digital first came, there was an argument about whether it would ever take off. Certainly people are still using film. Digital hasn't killed film, but it's certainly way down there in popularity, in the same way that, arguably, there's still people shooting medium format and Polaroid out there, but it's still not really dominant in the market. The sales statistics suggest that mirrorless really is the way to go. Compact cameras, the market is just about dead. DSLR sales are down. Mirrorless is what most people are buying. But who cares what most people are buying? As long as your system is going to continue to be supported, like I've been saying from the beginning, you want to look at what is it that you shoot? What do you currently own? Where are the gaps? What's your budget? What are the features that you really need? Do you need it to have dual card slots? Do you need it to be weather sealed? Do you need it to have 10 frames a second, or would 2 do? Do you need focus points in the corner, or do you only use the central one anyway? What are the actual features that will really make a difference to how you shoot, how your enjoyment of shooting, and the results you get? And what's the balance there as well? Will having a lighter, much smaller walk-around kit that at the end of the day you might have missed a few shots but your back isn't hurting, is that more valuable to you? Or is the sore back worth it to get the shots? It really depends the stakes of what you're doing and what your motivation and end use for the images is going to be. So I can understand why this is, an emotional issue for some people. But if it's not for you, just step back and let other people make the decision for themselves. I love conversation, debate, sharing ideas, but when I see people saying things like, mirrorless is for everyone, you're an idiot if you're still shooting DSLR, or conversely, no pro would ever use mirrorless, or no serious photographer should be using mirrorless because it's got nothing to offer, they're equally stupid statements. We should all be just looking at what we need and buying to them and trying to enjoy our photography. At the end of the day, when you look at an amazing image, I can't imagine anyone's ever seen the portrait of the Afghan girl, or the reportage photography of the Napalm girl, or Kappa's work, and had their first instinct been, I wonder if that was shot on a mirrorless or a full frame or a medium format, or whether it was film or digital or da-da-da-da-da. The image speaks for itself. So make sure you enjoy your photography, let the image speak for itself, and buy gear that just works for you. My 2 cents, love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you're shooting with. I'll see you soon.
And now for something completely different. You might know that I'm a lifelong seafood fanatic. Well, I've just started a second YouTube channel. Join me as I eat my way around the globe, trying everything along the way. From fine dining to street food, from local favorites to gigantic platters, fish markets to 5-star hotels. I try the classic staples and the exotic delicacies.
Is it a joke or?
All in search of the world's best seafood. Subscribe for a seat at the table.